Hello, I'm Dark Shades, and today's life skills video is how to attract an eligible man. Now, there's two types of men, as we all know. There's the non-eligible, and then there's the eligible. Now, the non-eligible, I would say, are the ones who try to make out like they're single when they're not. They're probably still with somebody, or they haven't got over their last girlfriend or their last woman. Somebody's hurt them really badly, and they come over with all this bravado, but deep down inside they're hurting. And so when you talk to them, you notice they get agitated really quickly, or they respond quickly, or sometimes they'll call you, and then when you start calling them back or asking them any questions, they don't call, or those people that play games, those men that play games, sometimes they don't call you for days, and then they'll call you and they expect you to react. And those are what I call the non-eligible, the ones that don't make an effort. When you see them, when you go out sometimes to a party or a dance or a nightclub, they haven't bothered to make an effort. The dress code might be no trainers, but you'll still see them in some kind of pseudo trainers and tracksuit that it's not really appropriate. Then put it in this way, they're not appropriately dressed for an evening out. And these same ones are going to approach you when you look exquisite and elegant, and they're going to approach you with their little head cap turned back ways and goodness knows what, expecting you to respond. And then when you don't respond, they say, oh, you think you're nice, or you think you're this, or you think that you're that, and they have an attitude. They're also the ones that are satisfied with their lot. They're just not willing. They're not ambitious. They don't have no passion about anything. They don't have any interests. They're quite happy with their lot. They just stay at home, maybe watch TV, stick their feet up, and as long as there's food coming in and they've got a roof over their head, that's enough. They're not prepared to go the extra mile. They're not, even if they've got the money, they're not prepared to put together and get something better. Those people that are just complacent and just satisfied with their lot. Those are what I call the non-eligibles. The eligibles that you do want to attract are those who have got it together. They're charming, they're courteous, they're considerate, they're good listeners, they're good communicators, they're caring, and they're self-sufficient. And they show an interest in what you're saying, and they ask you questions. And you don't get the feeling that they're distracted as though their mind's on something else. You get, they're not boastful, but at the same token, they're quite open with where they are, what their plans are, what they've achieved so far, and where their head is at. They're also willing to talk to you about their future plans, and they're asking you what your future plans are. And you can tell just from the way they speak that they have got it together. And those are what I call the eligible ones, and those are the ones you need to attract. Now, when you're going out there, you might say, well, how do I know that whether or not they're eligible or they're not eligible? But you can tell from their body language, the way they speak to you, and within seconds you can tell. And if you've got a criteria of what you want, you'll know exactly when not to go further. Now, like supposing you don't like to drive, or you can't drive for some reason, you might have a disability or something, and it's important for the person that you meet or have in your life that he drives. Not because you're looking for a man who's got any flashy car, you just need to know that he drives. Now, if on the first date he calls you and you ask him, you call because you're looking at the time and asking him where he is, and he says, oh well, I'm just on the bus, I'm coming, I'll be there in 15 minutes. You know immediately that that's not the type of person you want to attract. You can still continue to meet him, and you never know, it might turn into a friendship. But you know that for your long-term goals, that's not the type of person. And that's the way you kind of wean them out. You talk to them, you know the level of conversation you're comfortable with. Don't compromise that. If somebody is effing and blinding, Don't compromise that just because he buys you a drink and just because he takes you out for dinner. You don't compromise that. And also, the effort that they've made to get dressed, have they got stains on their clothes? Are they clean? Do they look tidy? They don't have to be a suit and tie, but they do need to present themselves well. What shoes are they wearing? Have they made an effort? And these are the little things where you wean out from the beginning. It's not difficult. And then that way you know how to attract an eligible male. Well, I wish you luck, girls. Tell me if you find someone. Just write a little comment and say, look, dark shades, it worked. Okay, bye for now.